I'm Kyle Milan, and you need to watch my LinkedIn Lives because you're going to learn some shit, and sometimes I'm funny. And we're here to talk about industrial sales, industrial marketing, technical sales.
Are you in sales and still struggling to form those relationships with your clients?
The thing is with sales, especially in industrial manufacturing, you can use LinkedIn, but you can use it to sell without selling. Hey Bill, this is Kyle with Manufacturing Tribe, a Texas-based industrial sales and marketing company. On average, we create over 500 videos a year for our clients and write over 500 articles. Leave your comments in the comment section below. We will answer them when we come back. And if we don't have any questions, then I'm going to go on about my day. We'll be right back. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to it, please. Look at all the video content we have on there. I haven't spent 22 years in manufacturing to not know what I'm talking about. You need to watch my content. What's up, guys? I'm Kyle Milan, and we are back with another live. It's been a minute since we came live. We've got the team doing lives. I don't know if you guys are following the MFG Tribe company LinkedIn page, but you need to do it. Also got a YouTube channel up there. You get to meet some key people from the rest of the team. We're doing videos every week. Hopefully you guys subscribe, follow their page, and pay attention to it because there's a lot of good information that we're putting out there on a weekly basis just to help you guys out in industrial marketing, technical sales. We've got Nancy doing a live show now. I think she did one last week. So our live show schedule has been switched up a little bit because we're busy producing so much content. So we want to bring as much value as possible, and we're not going to be able to do that if we're having to go live every single week. So if you guys are new to my content, all I talk about is industrial marketing and technical sales. That's all I know. I have no contingency plan. It's what we do every single day here in this office. Based out of Austin, Texas. Anybody that is from Texas, we welcome you to come and visit us in Austin, western part of Austin, the fun part. So we're going to jump into today's topic. We're talking about the pros and cons of a niche agency. And what I want you to think about from your standpoint is if you guys are working for a company that is in a niche, there's going to be some good, valuable information that's in this live today. It's going to be reposted on YouTube. You can watch a full video, and we're going to condense it down a little bit. So after this live or when you see this on replay, go over to my YouTube channel, subscribe to it, turn on notifications so you can get notified once we do post the final episode, which will be next week sometime. But these rules and these pros and cons and the things we're talking about today are going to apply to your situation if you're in that niche. If you're selling commodities, there has to be some value proposition that you have. You can't just say, I'm a me too person, right? I sell everything that this other company does the exact same way. Everybody's got their value proposition. But the key is to find out how can you have any sort of niche in it. So for our niche as a marketing agency, we're an industrial marketing agency. So that is B2B, but it's focused on industrial and technical companies. What does that mean? Industrial, manufacturing. If you make something that is a product that is not a standard product that an average person will understand, that's part of our client base. Anything on the industrial manufacturing services side, you guys have a product that you're using to provide a service. You guys buy equipment and provide a service. Everything under the sun. That's the world that we live in. That's what we've done for the last 8 years. Prior to that, I was in industrial for 15 years, selling and marketing, doing some engineering stuff. So this is all I know. So when I created the agency, I had a lot of hurdles to overcome and still do continue to have hurdles to overcome. And we're going to jump into this list right now. If you guys are watching on LinkedIn, give me some of those blue thumbs so that way we see you in here. If you guys have questions, put them in the comment section below. We will get to those as we go through this live and answer all of those direct questions as long as they're appropriate because Laura has control as the producer. So the first con, if you're in a niche, any niche, I'm going to speak specifically to the industrial marketing niche and companies that we work with in manufacturing and industrial that are in a niche, is that people don't know that you exist. So if you look at everything from a standpoint of traditional way of doing things in your industry, and I'll speak to my industry, the traditional way that manufacturing and industrial companies try and find a company like ours, an agency like ours, is going to be they're going to type in marketing or sales in a city or in B2B. That's a broad range. They don't know to search for the keyword phrases, and the data supports it by showing the number of people searching for what it is that we do a month is very low compared to the bigger non-niche way of doing it. The same is going to apply to you if you are in a niche. If you look at it from a traditional standpoint, people traditionally are used to a service that has been around for a while, a way of doing things that's been around for a while. And if you've got something new and you're like, dude, I've heard this so many times, we don't have any competitors because what we're doing is completely new. Well, you do. Your competition is traditional. If you figure out a new way to powder coat something, machine something, a new way to tend to machines with robotics, then your competition is traditional. So you have to look at it from the standpoint that people are going to be searching and going after those people that are providing that solution. They don't know that you even exist. So with that con, how can you overcome it? The way you have to overcome it is you have to get in front of their face and scream at them and say, hey, we're here. We've got a better way of doing it. We found a better way to make a mousetrap. Not literally, maybe literally, because there are some pretty dope mousetraps out there these days. But you have to scream at them. The way to do that is to produce content. You have to push it out on platforms where your potential customers are and get it in front of their face. Now, if they're not looking for you, they're not in a buyer's mindset. So you have to educate them. This is what we do. This is why it's better. This is why we're better than the typical way of doing it. That's going to be a longer sales cycle most of the time for people that are doing services and products, because you have to educate them and why this new technology, this new thing is going to save them money, efficiencies, time, whatever it is. It's going to do something. There's some value proposition that you have. If you are in the traditional way of doing it, you guys have to figure out something that's different. If you're just like all of the other people in your space, what separates you? What's going to make it to where me as a buyer wants to purchase something from you instead of going to the competition? It can't just be price. It can't just be quality, because that's like the price needs to be competitive, relatively speaking. The quality needs to be there. The customer service needs to be there. So you can't use those as a value proposition. When we meet with manufacturing companies, I ask them, what's your value proposition? You can't say price, you can't say delivery, you can't say quality, and you can't say engineering. And they're like, oh, well, I don't know what my value proposition is then. And let's get creative. Let's talk about it. Let's look at your competition and figure out how are you doing something that's better or different than them. So you have to get creative, because they're not searching for you. People are not searching for us. They will type in what it is that we do with marketing and sales, and they'll type it in a general type of search phrase in their general area. Maybe they'll say near me. If I try and go after those keywords, that's general. My competition is massive now. There's so many people that are going after those general keywords. There's also nothing that's going to separate me, even if I put stuff on the website that says we do, but we're a marketing agency, but we only work with these companies. If I'm not showing up for those people that do search for that specific niche type search phrase, then nobody's ever going to find me that are looking for me. So you have to kind of put your flag in the sand and say, this is what I'm going after. If you guys are doing different, newer, non-traditional ways of solving problems in the space, then you have to kind of play with the words and figure out how many people are searching for it the right way. And maybe I have some pages ranking for that, but then these other pages are ranking for the traditional way that people are searching. So that's a huge con. That's probably the biggest con ever, is people aren't searching for you. So how do you get in front of them? Don't rely on search. Put together a plan to show up when people do search for you, but you have to go 20 times harder on the forefront to be able to aggressively pull them in and say, look at me, look at me. We do this for your specific niche. We have tons of experience doing it. We're better than everybody else. You have to be aggressive from a sales standpoint. Outbound marketing, outbound sales, all that stuff has to be screaming and jumping to get attention around it. The easiest way to do it is going to be make a ton of content and then push it out there on the platforms that they pay attention to. The next con is going to be, you're going to grow slower. If you're in a niche world, you're going to have slower growth because of the fact that nobody knows even to search for you. I don't care if you've got the latest robotic technology where you're using multiple cameras and 6-dimensional imaging and whatever it is, you will grow slower because people are used to the traditional way. They don't know to search for you. You have to educate them. It's going to be a longer sales cycle. It's going to be more in depth with education. People are going to be like, well, who currently uses you? Well, we've only got, these 3 companies. One of them's really big. We're doing stuff with GE or with Ford or whoever. But they're going to be like, I want to go with the tried and true traditional way of doing it because they don't want to take the risk. So you're going to grow slower. Go into it knowing that, but we'll get to the pros of this where you can charge more money in a second. The next thing is going to be the competition is going to be bigger in the beginning. Again, you're going to grow slower. Your competition is bigger. You're going up against the whales, the giants, the people that have massive reach. If you're selling, we were on a call yesterday with a prospect, and they do scanning equipment, and they're going up against some of the biggest companies in the space that produce scanning equipment. There is no way that they can compete with them from a standpoint of the latest technology coming out with multiple products, because they don't have a team of thousands of people doing it. So how do you compete up against them? Focusing on a niche and creating a lot of content to push in front of them, so that way you're educating them faster than when they do say, I need a solution to this, punch it in the keyboard. That competitor that's bigger and badder than you is going to show up first. That's one method of getting in front of them, right? They're Google searching, they're going on LinkedIn searching, they're asking their friends for a referral, they're asking people in the department, hey, we need a new this. Do you know anybody? Oh yeah, you should try this new company. What the key is there, and the goal is going to be, you want, when those conversations are happening, somebody that you're connected with on LinkedIn, somebody that's seen your videos on YouTube or LinkedIn, gotten an email from you, says, you know what, you should check out XYZ company. They're doing something pretty cool. I got this thing from them, or I saw this video. You should definitely check them out. That's what you're trying to go after, because the big boys have the brand. You don't have a brand yet to trust and to be able to rely upon. They've already got that. They've spent decades doing it and tens of millions of dollars. So don't try and compete with them at their own game. You have to do things that they're not doing, which is going to be produce a lot of content, put it in front of people aggressively, and go strategically after groups of industries, groups of people, personas, whatever it is. Like, aggressively go after engineers. Try and get as many engineers in this ecosystem to know your name, to start building up the brand recognition, and then start selling to them. Jumping on to the pro side, I know some of you guys, like, I'm not a Debbie Downer. I don't like talking about cons. I always take a con and turn it into a pro. That's just how I work. So a pro, you can provide a bigger impact faster. Okay? You can provide a bigger impact faster. That means that there's less time that you have to spend learning, because you already know their niche. So for us, we talk to people every single week that book discovery calls with us. And just heard it yesterday on that discovery call with that company. It was actually a second call. Got pulled into the office from my business development manager, Alex. You guys have probably seen him on LinkedIn. He's making a lot more content these days. And the guy said that the amount of money that he spent on an agency to learn, right, to develop a strategy, it was ridiculous. So as a niche agency, we save people time, because I don't need you to explain to me what a machine is or what a service is, because we already know it, because we already do it, or I have experience in my past 23 years working with manufacturing companies. So we save them money and time. Time is more important than money, right? Money you can get back, time you can't. You can always make more money, you can't create more time. So I always just look at it from the standpoint, if somebody took 90 days to learn and develop a strategy, that is a significant waste of time, and you will never get that back. So as a niche, I'm able to say, oh, who are you selling to? These people? Well, here's how you do it, and here's how I know how you do it, because this is what we do. And we can do it starting in week 3 after we get all of this stuff integrated and set up. Now, an agency will be like, no, I need to develop a strategy. It's going to take me 90 days, and I focus on industrial manufacturing companies too. That is a way for them to buy time to keep charging you more money. The way that we approach it is different. We want impact as fast as possible, because I was in your shoes before, and I was sick of marketing agencies saying that it's going to take 30, 60, 90 days to figure it out. I just want action as fast as possible. When can you take over my LinkedIn post? When can I see the first article from you? When are you going to come out and shoot videos? As fast as possible, because at the end of the day, ROI matters. And if you guys aren't doing your job as an agency, If they're not doing their job as an agency, they're not going to be bringing in opportunities. You're not going to be able to jump on revenue streams from that and bring in new opportunities to then say my ROI was this. But any sort of niche, it doesn't have to be our specific situation with marketing. You can provide a bigger impact faster because you know exactly what their pain points are, and you built your entire system, product, processes, services that you offer around solving that pain point. You're also going to have a faster sales cycle. You're not going to need to do a call to understand, a second call to learn, bring in the boss, let's do a proposal, let's figure out how can we do this for your situation. You go into it saying, I know the top pain points because I work in this niche. Are these top pain points for you? Yep, I've got 3 of those 5. Do you have any other pain points? Yep, I got this other one. Okay, cool. What we're going to do is offer a solution to all of those pain points to be able to make you whole again and bring in new opportunities and get your brand out there harder and faster and stronger. And it all comes down to knowing exactly what they need and asking specific questions when you don't know exactly what it is that they need. I can ask any company 4 questions. Answers to those 4 questions give me enough information to develop a strategy, put together a proposal, and start taking massive action immediately and produce results. So if you're in a niche, if you're in traditional and you're like, I want to go into a niche, you have to think about it from the standpoint that you are the expert. So you should be able to get to the end result faster. If you can't, niche down even further. You can say, I sell this commodity, I sell plastics. So many companies sell plastics, right? Plastic resin, composites, things like that. Get down into a further niche. I'm selling engineered grade. I don't mess with the commodity stuff, polypropylene, ethylene, stuff like that. I always go back to plastics because that's where I spent 8.5 years of my life was in thermoplastics. Go even further. I only do engineered grade stuff. What is that going to do? That's going to take away some of the market on the commodity stuff. But now you're not a Me Too person. You're a niche. You're going to have slower growth because you're only selling one segment of a tire group. But you can be the experts in that space. And that's what you have to focus on. How can I be the expert in this space? In our space, there's a lot of people that are talking about it. There's some good companies that we compete with that if I had to pick between us, obviously I'm going to pick us because I'm a little bit biased, but there's some good, solid competition out there in our niche. And we still have to educate people on why what they're doing is not working or won't work. And we still have people that say, I went down this path and it was the 4th agency I tried. They said that they knew manufacturing industrial, but still I spent $28,000 in 3 months and I didn't get anything in return. I spent $60,000 a year and they didn't move the needle much. And that, so people can say that they're in a niche, but if what they do doesn't work, then it doesn't really matter. But you can get there faster if you niche down. Next thing is going to be less time learning, more time taking action. That's just a follow-up point to what I just said. If you're spending less time learning about somebody and more time taking action, then you're going to produce results faster. They're going to get more bang for their buck. You're going to be able to shorten the cycle on the ROI and be able to keep them happy and make them happy to where down the road you've got a lifetime client. That's what you have to focus on. Is you're trying to say, I'm in this niche. I know what we're supposed to be doing. And if you sell them that, and you start doing it, you're not doing it, then you need to change your team under you that's taking that action. Because if you sell somebody that we know how this stuff works and then you don't, then your brand will fizzle out pretty quickly. Another point to add to it is you can charge more money. People have this phrase, the riches are in the niches, right? You can charge more money because you're saving time, not because you can say, I'm going to charge more money because I'm in a niche and these people will know that I know what I'm talking about. So I can charge them $5,000 more or $500,000 more. It all comes down to time, like I said. It's like those jokes that people say, like you bring in a mechanic or something like that, and it's like with $10,000 bill, it was $1 to turn the screw, but it was $9,999 to know which screw to turn. That person is an expert in that space. But even that mechanic has to figure out, how do I separate myself from everybody else? So people will pay more, not to just get something better, but to save time, especially in this industry that I serve. Time is everything, and people have zero patience. So we're going to take a short break and go to the comment section. Guys, if you have questions, if you guys are in a niche, put them in the comment section below if you want my opinion on how you guys can strategically increase and separate yourself out from everybody else. Or if there's a struggle that you've been dealing with, put them in the comment section and we will be right back.
How should I go about cold calling?
The people that you're calling, they don't have time. They don't have patience. You need to get direct to the point. For the marketing people out there, industrial marketers, just because you're in marketing doesn't mean that you don't have to look at things on a weekly basis. And I'm like, look, I know that I need to get into automation, one, for the labor shortage because I can't find people.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people in our industries of industrial that are doing fun things with TikTok. But I feel like you have to adapt, right? Did you see some instant spike in activity?
9 to 5, just make enough to survive. Only living on the weekends. You really thinking that's why I'm alive?
We're back. We're jumping in the comments. There's only a few, but that's all right. If you guys are watching this on replay, still put a comment in the comment section below. And be sure to go over to YouTube, subscribe to that YouTube channel because we got some fire coming out of there. And that channel is starting to blow up. Let's hit the comments, Laura.
Let's see. It looks like some of our team is watching, hopefully while they work. Mason says, woo! And Alex also says, woo!
Do you think that that's how they meant to say it? Was it like a woo or was it like a woo? Woo.
It was probably way, way, way more enthusiastic.
Okay.
And then we have Penny Thorne is following on the road watching, and she is actually going to be on Nancy's live next week.
Oh, Penny Thorne.
Yeah.
Penny Thorne is, look at that. So Penny is driving probably to a sales appointment, I'm assuming, Penny, or doing some sales outreach and still tuning into the content. It's all about multitasking. So many times people in sales, if you're driving, you got to be doing something else while you're driving. Like listen to a podcast, listen to a video, spend the $9.99 on YouTube to get you to be able to lock your phone and not pause a video. I do that all the time. I bought that like 2 years ago, that subscription. I think it's $10 a month, but I can lock my phone. The video still plays. I forget what it's called, but subscribe to that because then you don't have to just have your phone open. I don't need to watch most videos. I just need to listen to what they're saying. And it's all about multitasking. So you're not just driving. If you've got 3 hours of windshield time or an hour of windshield time, multitask, set up appointments, calls, whatever you can do efficiently. Obviously, don't be running your laptop while you're driving, but if you have some scheduled meetings, some scheduled follow-up calls, just make them while you're driving.
And then Patrick Massaro says, come on, brother. Exactly.
Patrick.
So something you said.
Yeah. Patrick probably said, like, come on, brother. Exactly. Blushy face. Pat knows what's up. Pat knows how technical sales should be done. He's been doing it a long time. And he knows that, like, even in his space specifically, like, what makes you better than everybody else? Like, you have to have something. Everybody has to have something. Everybody's selling something that somebody else is selling. And if you're like, nobody else sells what we sell, you're selling against traditional. You have to flip that switch. So many companies have come to us and said, we have no competition. Yes, you do. It's traditional, right? Before electric cars were around, do you think people were like, no, we have no competition. We've got the whole market. The market is gasoline. So you have to educate people, prove to them that it's better, and all that stuff, even though it's not. And I could argue for people with days. If you look at the ROI on a electric vehicle, I know some of my manufacturing nerds out there will agree with it, but too many people are like, I'm saving energy and I'm saving the earth by buying an electric car. The ROI of what it produces in like CO2, gases, and whatever that pollute the earth, you would have to have that electric car for 6 or 7 years before you start to see an ROI, because so much goes into the manufacturing of it with the battery versus a normal car, a gasoline car. the electric cars aren't there. So will you eventually save the earth? Possibly in like 150 years. But let's face it, I'm not going to be around for that. So I don't really give a shit.
All right. Penny also says PVD coatings for metal stamping manufacturers. Our niche is faster turnaround times.
There you go. Faster turnaround time. So you're in a space that is heavily populated, right? And you've got your value proposition, but even still, like think about that niching within down even further than that. So maybe it's like you guys only do it for a specific industry. Like I'm a machine shop, but I only work with aerospace companies. Now, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket because that could be dangerous. So maybe it doesn't make sense to just be in one, but you'd be surprised. Like there's so many times that when I first started this agency, year 2, I'm like, we're not growing fast enough. Maybe we should work with companies outside of it. Then we did. So we were doing industrial and also other people in B2B. And I just hated what they were selling and I couldn't get behind it. So I was like, dude, I can't get behind what you're selling. We had a guy once, this is a funny story. This is like 7 years ago. We had a guy that reached out to us, wanted to manage all of his advertising and his email marketing literally 7 years ago. And what he sold was vanity 800 numbers. And he was pretty big. And I was like, all right, we had a short-term problem. I was trying to grow, right? So I wanted more revenue. So I went to a short-term solution, which is this guy's willing to pay us X amount of dollars to do his stuff. I was trying to grow, get my name out there. I wanted to build a team. So I took on the project. It was like 3 months in before I had to call an audible and say, dude, I can't do this anymore. Like even 7 years ago, nobody uses 1-800 like whatever. I could not get behind it. I could not agree with it. And we did it for 3 months. We got him some successes and wins because I'm not going to go out on a low note. We went out on a high note and I was like, dude, we're good. I hope you find somebody that can market this for you and do this because I just could not get behind it. And that's why I said, I'm so done working with people that aren't inside of our niche of industrial. Change the company name. We are planting our flag in the sand that we are industrial manufacturing. I mean, it says it in the name, so I guess it must be true.
The only other comment I have right now is Alex confirming that it was more like a woo, like all caps woo.
Okay. So, and Alex's office is right here. So he's in there watching. Mason is on the other side of this wall, outside of my office. Yeah, that wall. And but you got it. Like, there's things that happen in these lives, like Laura joking, being like, I hope that they're still working. Work while you're listening to stuff, right? Have this thing up. Do other things while you're doing it. Send emails. Is Alex popping out?
Yeah, he's waving.
He's waving. Alex is waving. There you go. If you guys are ever in the Austin area, come down. We had one of our customers come yesterday for some training on HubSpot. We're a HubSpot partner, and it's just fun. Like, we've got a fun work environment. Our team's continuing to grow. We're actually got some job postings out there right now for some more people. So we're continuing to grow. So if you guys are in the Austin area ever, then hit us up and stop on by. No more questions. No more questions or comments. So we're going to get on with our day. Guys, we've got a fun video coming from a cold calling challenge that Laura is going to take probably 6 months to edit because there's so much footage. But we've got, what is it now? 6.5 hours?
Almost 7 hours.
We've got almost 7 hours of footage of me and Mason making cold calls because I did a challenge. Who can book more appointments after making 100 calls? And there's some repercussions of who loses to that challenge. So that's going to be coming out shortly with some minor tweaks to the challenge because some things happen. But it's all fun stuff. We're just trying to educate you guys, show you some behind the scenes, show you how we do it for other clients, see what works. Head over to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on LinkedIn, engage with the content, please, because it helps me out. We bring this to you for free. All I'm asking back is for you guys to share it with someone that you know, and we will see you on the next one.